She had managed her condition alone for 9 years. The dog had been managing it with her for 3. She just hadn't been paying attention to his half of the arrangement. Vivian Osei was 38, a high school art teacher, and had lived with a heart arrhythmia since she was 29. Paroxysmal atrial fibrillation, episodes that came without warning, lasted minutes to hours, and had been brought under control over 9 years of medication adjustment to the point where they were infrequent enough that she had arrived at a kind of uneasy normalcy around them. She had not, in 9 years, had a reliable advance warning. Their large mixed breed, 4-year-old Nero, black, heavy-coated, 75 pounds, had been with her for 3 of those years. He slept at the foot of the bed. He was calm and predictable. The episode that made Vivian start keeping records happened on a Monday in March. She was making coffee. Nero came to her left side and pressed against her leg, his full shoulder weight against her thigh. He had done this before, occasionally. She had attributed it to affection. That morning she noticed it was specifically her left side. She noted it because it had always been the left side. She filed it as something to watch. 2 days later, Nero came to her left side at 7 a.m. and stayed for 40 minutes. He followed her to the kitchen, stood beside her left leg at the counter, followed her to the couch. Left side. Always. At 8:20 a.m., she went into atrial fibrillation. She called her cardiologist. She sat on the couch. The episode resolved in 37 minutes. She opened a notebook and wrote, Nero, left side, 7 o'clock. Episode 8:20. She went back through the previous months. She had mentioned Nero's pressing behavior in passing twice in conversations with her sister. Once in November, once in January. Both times she had attributed it to the cold or his mood. She called her cardiologist and asked to come in. Subscribe now, because what Dr. Amara Osei-Bonsu said when Vivian presented the 4-month retrospective and the 3 documented correlations is what changed the protocol, not just for Vivian, but for how her cardiologist now discusses pets with her cardiac patients. Dr. Osei-Bonsu reviewed the notebook. She looked at the timestamps. She said, there is published research on dogs detecting atrial fibrillation through changes in skin conductance, heart rate variability signals that propagate through physical contact, and volatile organic compound changes in breath and perspiration in the pre-episode autonomic window. She said, the left side specificity is notable. The heart's electrical disturbance in AF creates physical vibrations that propagate through the chest wall and into the left side of the body differently than the right. A dog pressing specifically against the left side may be registering those vibrations through physical contact. She looked at the notebook again. She said, I'm going to ask every cardiac patient I see from now on whether they have a dog, and what the dog does before an episode. Has a pet ever behaved consistently before a health event in a family member? In a way nobody initially connected to it? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Vivian now documents every Nero left side event. In the 8 months since she began recording, he has come to her left side 11 times. 3 of those times have preceded episodes. 8 have not. She has discussed this with Dr. Osei-Bonsu. Dr. Osei-Bonsu said, 8 false positives and 3 true detections is not a medical instrument. It is a dog. But 3 detections of an event with no other advance warning is not nothing. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never ask for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Vivian thinks about the 9 years before Nero. She thinks about what it felt like to have an episode arrive without any signal at all, To be sitting at a desk or driving or standing in front of a class and have her heart simply decide to do something different. She thinks about the 3 mornings that started differently because a dog stood on her left side and she knew to sit down. He is not a medical instrument, but he is the closest thing to advance warning she has ever had. Next, the husky who kept sitting between the family's 2 children during car journeys, and why the accident reconstruction specialist's report mentioned the dog's position specifically.